Folks, be aware of olive trees. Yes, you heard me. Olives, trees. OLIVE. Okay. Um, Snakes love olive trees. They love to be around olive trees. It brings some kind of coolness in under the ground for them. It's like a coolness. The in Spain they have, this is a big issue over there. They have a lot of olive trees, and the snakes are just loving it. So those of you that have olive trees wherever you live, and they are snakes, well, I do believe there are snakes everywhere. Just at some places you see them more than some. But just in case, if you have an orchard or something filled with olive trees, be aware. That's a haven for snakes. They love olive trees. There are other trees and plants that they love too. You can Google it, but I was reading an article a little while ago, and yeah, it was talking about the olive trees, and especially in Spain, some part of Spain. Yeah, they have a lot of olive trees, and the folks living in that area is finding that out. So if you don't want your home, your backyard, or whatever to be filled with these cold-blooded creatures, be aware of those olive trees. I love olives, but I wouldn't be having no trees or no plants or whatever around me, because Florida is a place where there's a lot of snakes also. You might not see them all the time, but they are here. And you have to be aware, folks. Wherever you are, you have to be aware of these cold-blooded creatures. Yeah. And the funniest thing, I was watching this channel on YouTube. It's Korean. The guy, he was a chef. And they were showing him, he killed the rattlesnake. And it's really unique the way how he did it. And he had him in this bag. He tied the bag. Then he took him. He had something covering his mouth, and he rolled it around his wrists. Then he let it loose. When I say let it loose, not for it to crawl away, he was still holding the head because it could bite him. And the skin was so pretty. Black, it looks like black and silver. This man then put the snake back into the bag. He tied the neck of the bag, and then he put him in a pot, a big pot. I don't know if it was a him or her, but I'm just saying him. And then he poured water on him. He poured water. He overfilled the pot. That was to drown him, suffocate him, or whatever, because it did the job. He let it sit for a little while, and then he started nudging at it until there were no movement. Then he took it out. He poured the water out. He took the rag that he was gagging his mouth with, and then he laid him on the table. He took his knife and he chopped his head off first. Then he stretched the body out on the table and he cut it up into pieces. I was watching this thing, but I was like, oh my God, there's no way that he's gonna eat that. Well, believe it or not, he sure did. He cooked it. He cleaned every part out of it. They showed the heart. The heart was still beating because he kept nudging it and it was moving. Then it was this long part. I don't know if that was the liver or not, but it looked like the liver. I don't know, because I don't know all the body parts of a snake, what it looked like. But yeah, he took that out and he put that on the side next to the heart. Then he peeled it open and he took out, it was these cute little creamy looking, they look like in a circular shape, soft. I don't know what they were, but he took them out. Maybe eggs, I don't know, but he took them out. They were flat but circular, like soft, like a soft tissue. It was a lot of them and they were joined together. He took them out and whatever was on it was slimy. So, he pulled them off. He pulled off the slime. Like when you cut open a chicken, like that. It'd be like slimy and stuff like that. So you take off the slime. Yeah, he took that out, but he put those in another container. Then he continued cleaning out the inside of it, each part. Then he washed it off and stuff like that. And they use the Korean ingredients and stuff like that. I don't speak Korean, so I couldn't tell what it was, but I'm quite sure some of it was salt and probably vinegar, but it was in Korean writing, Anyway, he washed it off and then he cut each piece up into slices. It had looked like, I don't know if y'all know, well, I'm quite sure y'all do. When you go to the fish market, they show how they cut up like shark. How they cut the shark in pieces? It had looked just like shark. The pieces had looked just like shark. Just that the color on it, I didn't really care for the color. It was black, mostly black, but like silver circles on it, the coloring. Anyway, yeah, he chopped up each piece like that. And then he put it in a pot with some water and he added his ingredients and stuff like that. And he cooked it, he cooked it. And then he had this plate sitting on the table and he had tomatoes. He sliced them up like, he cut them up and then he sliced them like in half and he decorated the plate with the tomatoes. They didn't show us when he did that, but that's how the plate was. And I thought the plate was made like that, not realizing after I started looking at it that it was tomatoes. It looked so cute, with a cute design. But guess what he did? After he finished cooking the meat, he took it out. It was like in a soup. It looked like soup. So I was like, snake soup. He took a spoon and he took some out and he put it on the plate. He put a lot on the plate. It had looked really nice. Then he took a little bowl and, he had 2 chopsticks and he took the snake, the pieces of the snake that I just told y'all that it looked like shark, when you cut the shark, He took a couple of pieces and he put it in his little bowl. Then he took the chopsticks and he picked up a piece and he bit into it and he was just chewing. But to me, it seemed like it was a tough meat. It seemed like it was tough. Maybe he didn't let it cook long enough, but he still had it boiling on the stove, the other part that he wasn't eating. And someone was filming, was taking a video of him. So, he was just doing it. He was putting his thumb up like this, saying it tastes good. And he was just chewing on it. And I was like, oh my God, how can these people eat all these kind of exotic meats? You know what I'm saying? But then I said to myself, a lot of us, we eat pork, we raised up with pigs and stuff like that. And well, I don't know about all of y'all, but I was raised up with pigs and chickens and ducks and all that kind of sheep and stuff like that. And we ate that kind of livestock. So I was just saying to myself, wow, look how these people, they make use of everything. Everything, they eating the snakes and stuff like that. I've often heard of people eating snakes, but I never actually seen anyone, actually kill it, cut it up, and cook it, and actually was eating it, and it looks so delicious on the plate. It looks so delicious, but with me knowing that it was a snake, it wasn't delicious to me. It didn't look, I wouldn't want to eat that. But what I'm trying to say is, when you go to these different places, like different countries and islands and stuff like that, you need to be aware of things that you eat, because these people be cooking all sorts of everything. They do not let nothing go to waste. Some people eat squirrels. I know y'all heard about people eating dog and stuff like that. They claim the Chinese eat dog and cat, allegedly. I don't know about that, but you have to be careful. Even in Vietnam, they eat different kind of meat and stuff over there too, different animals. And it's called exotic. And folks, I heard some people be saying, this stuff tastes good. They said snake tastes like chicken. I don't know for sure. But this man, guess what he did next? He took the same little creamy round stuff I was telling y'all about. I don't think those were, maybe they were little eggs. I don't know, but they didn't have a shell or nothing. I don't know what they were, but they were soft. They looked soft. But then he took that, he cleaned it off, and he poured the stuff I told you that looked like salt or whatever. Then he washed it off. Then he put it in a pan, and he put all his Korean seasoning to it. He stirred it up and everything. And, he added his little pepper and all of that. And then, guess what? He put some oil in a pan. I said, oh boy, he's going to fry the stuff now. He made them into little cakes. You know how you make like fish cakes or bakes or anything like that? In Barbados, we call them bakes. It's dough with sugar, and some people add salt. And like if you watch Collage TV and stuff like that in Jamaica, they make they dumplings and stuff like that. But what we call dumpling, it's still made with the dough and the salt and a little sugar, but we roll ours different. This is in Barbados. But in Jamaica, they make them flat. They roll it together, and then they take their hand and they go like this. If you watch his channel and a lot of channels from Jamaica, you will see how they do it. But what we call bakes now, we just get the stuff and we roll it into like a ball, and we flatten it. We don't flatten it. We flatten it, and then we put it in a pan and we fry it. Both sides would turn brown, and the dough cooks, and then you eat it. Fish cakes, practically the same, just that you put in the codfish inside of it, But yeah, And Barbados is known for the codfish, for the fish cakes. We call them fish cakes, which is codfish. They known for that, and the black pudding and sauce. I love that. But I haven't eaten it in a long time. My mother used to make it so good, and my grandmother and stuff, my mother's stepmother and stuff like that. But you can't eat it from everybody because it don't taste good from everybody. Everybody swear they know how to make these dishes, but they don't really know how to make. They make them their way. Like the Guyanese. No offense to y'all, but they make they black pudding and sauce. They make they sauce. No, the sauce is the pork. You chop it up and stuff like that. But they make they pudding. We call it black pudding because they add, in Barbados they put blood to the sweet potato. They grater it and stuff like that. They add blood, and not human blood, people. And they they put their little ingredients in it, and then they stuff the pig belly. You have to clean that really well. Down in the South, North Carolina, stuff like that, they call it chitlin. But in Barbados, we say the pig belly. You have to clean it and soak it and stuff like that, and they stuff it with this potato, and then they put it in a pot. When you hold it up, it looks like a daggone worm or a snake or something. It looks like a snake. But you take it and you put it in a pot and you let it cook and everything. And then when it's done, you can slice it up how you want and share it on a dish with the sauce. The sauce is like pieces of pork. They put vinegar and stuff on that, and they season it. And it tastes really good. But not everybody, like I said, theirs tastes good. They think theirs tastes good, but it don't. I'm telling you, I tasted from different places, and some of it I didn't like. But I love my mother's. I love my mother's stepmother, and I don't remember eating it from my aunt there or whatever. And then I had a cousin, he passed away a couple of years ago. He made it good too. And then some people, they serve it with sweet potato. They'll cook the potato and slice it and put it on the side. A lot of people make dishes like that and they sell it. But if you're a West Indian, you would like it and stuff like that. If you're American or some other nationality, if you try it, maybe you'll like it. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, the same way how these people, they cook other animals and eat it. I was saying to myself, well, I can't really knock them because that's what they grew up with, eating snakes and stuff like that. We grew up with eating pork, that's from the pig. And of course, if you don't cook it well, you can get sick, you can get worms and all that kind of stuff. Because the pig eat all sorts of different nasty stuff off the ground or stuff like that. And then they be in the pig pen, they slop pen or whatever. But pork, it has protein in it, and it's good. They said it's good for you, Google it. But you have to cook it very well, very well. Just like any other meat, you have to cook it. Otherwise, you can get sick. But snake, I never tasted unless I went somewhere and I ate and didn't know it was snake. But like they said, people said it tastes like chicken. I don't know. But I don't know how I would react if I went somewhere and I ate snake and then I asked, what is it? And they told me it was snake. I don't know if I would throw up right away. I don't know how I would react. But I was watching this young man, he killed it, cooked it, and then he was eating it. And he put his thumbs up saying it was good and all of that. Even the cakes, he was eating the cakes and stuff like that. But I don't know. But all this gourmet delicacies, you just have to be careful when you travel into these different places, trying out this and trying out that. It might have a name, but the name might not be something that you know about. So you need to find out about it before you go buying it and trying it and stuff like that. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing up for days. You'll be sick for days. Not because it made you sick, it's because you hearing what it is and you scared and you don't know too much and you ate it. So just be aware of that. And some people, they eat bees and flies and what is it? I don't know if they eat mosquitoes. I'm quite sure they do. And they eat a lot of different kind of insects and stuff like that. They claim some insects are good for you and stuff like that, protein. I don't know. I am not trying all of those things because I'm not used to it, and I'm not gonna get myself into using stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But and a lot of the insects, they do the chocolate covered stuff in different places, and they claim it tastes good. But I like to try stuff, but I don't think I'll be trying all these exotic animals and insects and all this kind of different stuff. Yeah, but that channel, it was interesting, I am telling you, because I have a fear of snakes, but I was, over the years, I could not sit and look at no daggone snake. I just couldn't. Now, I can look on the TV and see 100 snakes, and I just be looking at them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, in this Ghana town, I was watching another one on YouTube. This is Ghana in Africa, Ghana. In this village, yeah, this YouTuber, him and his friend, they went over there, and they were doing a documentary or something on the village, because the village is known for the snakes, pythons and stuff like that. And they call the lady the snake mama, the man the snake papa. This is a family, people. And they even have the little girl, she's the snake sister, and the brother, all this kind of crazy stuff. So, and they wear, they wore regular clothes, but they had on, like, the little girl and the mom had on a turban on their head, they covered their head or whatever religion they're in, or the tribe. But they look normal and everything, They wasn't dressed out of the ordinary or nothing like that. They was dressed just like how we dress. In a regular dress, pants, and stuff like that. And they had on like slippers and stuff like that, because some of them, they wore barefooted and stuff like that. But they had something on their feet. But they had a lot of snakes, and this area is known for snakes. And they you should see how they handle the snakes. They hold the snakes. They roll it up like this in a circle, and then they put it on the mother. She had it laying on her chest, and you see the little head sticking out and wiggling, and then she put it around her neck. And this creature was very good. It didn't think, it's like they got him trained or whatever. I don't know. And the father, he was doing the same thing. They had the cages with all the snakes on the ground. Even the little girl, she looked like she was probably about 8 or 9. She had her stick in her hand because she goes out looking for the snakes. The stick had a hook on it, and she too was holding the snake and had it around her body and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, these people are brave. What if these things squeeze them and break their neck or whatever? But for some reason, they had them things are straight, and they used to them. I don't know if they eat them or not. It didn't seem like they do, but these snakes crawl around freely in that village. They crawl around freely. As big as they are, they crawl around freely on the ground. They claim they don't bite them, they don't attack them, all this kind of stuff. I don't know. But the YouTuber and his friend, they were like scared. They one, he wanted him to put the snake around his neck. So the lady put the snake on his neck, but you know, he was like wiggling like this because you could tell he's scared. And then, you know, the snake head was like moving. So he's like, get it off of me, get it off of me. So they got it off of him. And then he ran away. He was just a wiggling, you know, scared. But the friend, he was like, hell no. The friend ran. He was like, nope. And then they showed them, you know, they were leaving. You know, they did their video and they were leaving, and then they walked away, you know. Me, they got a lot of heart. You have to, I don't know. But, you know, I'm quite sure they got a lot of views for that. Because they were right there and they interviewed the family and stuff like that. They brave, I don't know. But, yeah. Maybe one day if I see somebody holding a snake, I'll get the nerve up to like stand close, not too close, and question them about the snake. You know, I made a video sometime back. I was in New York. It was Labor Day. And you know, Labor Day, people come out there with all sorts of snakes and stuff like that. And different colors, albinos and stuff. And I was by Eastern Parkway and what's that? It was between Eastern Parkway and Lincoln by Kingston Avenue. And this man was, no, it was Albany, Kingston, and Lincoln. And this man had this big snake. This snake was so big, oh my God. Pretty color too, light color. And he had the snake just laying out there. He had it laying, it wasn't on the ground. I think it was on, he had like it looked like it was some kind of branch or something. Cause you know, they have trees on Eastern Parkway, but they had the snake just laying there. And people were walking by and they were looking and stuff. You know me, I'm nosy. So, you know, I walked up. I wanted to see what the hell this crowd was about. So I stopped and I went inside of the crowd. And to my surprise, it was this big snake. It was a python, they said. They had the head. The head was so big. The mouth was open. You could see the teeth and everything. And I was scared, but I wasn't scared. I was so surprised of myself. I thought I would have freaked out, but I didn't. Only time I freaked out was when the police officer, he noticed how I was so into the snake. So guess what? He was like, "Ugh." And I jumped back. Oh my God, if my heart could have fly out of my mouth, it probably would, or out of my chest, it probably would. I jumped back so hard. I was so scared when he did that. But mind you, the snake didn't move. It was just laying there. And people was admiring this creature. And well, before he made the noise, I went over and I touched it. Because I always used to think that these creatures were like slimy and cold. They say they're cold-blooded, but because they don't like the heat, you know. But that's how I used to think they were. So I went over and I touched it. And believe it or not, it didn't feel cold. It wasn't slimy or wet. It felt like soft leather. Soft leather. Smooth. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And that's when the cop, big shout out to New York City Finest, that's when the police officer said, when I put my hand on it, touching it, he went, "Rah!" And that's when I jumped back. That's what scared me, him doing that. But yeah, it felt nice and soft and smooth. But I don't know if all of them feel like that now. But yeah. Oh, and the chef, when he was killing the snake, after he took him out the water and stuff like that, realizing that he was dead, then he started peeling the because they have skin that shed, right? So he was peeling the skin off, peeling it off. And guess what he did? He didn't throw away the skin. Afterwards, after he finished making the cakes and he ate one, and he had it set on a plate, really nice too. Then he took the skin, he cut up the skin in pieces, and he fried the skin in a different pot with oil. He fried it. Then he took it out the oil, he put it on a plate, and he ate like 3 pieces. He took piece and he was eating it, and it was so crunchy. It was crunchy. He even put his finger up like this, letting the guy know it was good. I was like, oh my God. So you see, these people do not let nothing waste. Because me, I would have threw the skin away. But he made use of that skin. He fried it and he ate it. I was so shocked, I'm telling you. But yeah, folks, if you're those kind of people that like to try different exotic foods and stuff like that, be careful, be aware of what you're eating before you eat it. And if you're the one that don't like to try, but you're hungry and you want something to eat, and you go into any of these places, and even here in Florida, they have a lot of different kind of exotic foods and stuff like that. They have alligator and all of that. I never actually tasted alligator, but I would like to try it. I'm thinking it's a tough meat, but they have a spot that sell it, but I haven't gone there yet. And I had something called alligator bites, but then I was told that it's not real alligator, because I asked the lady in the restaurant and she said it wasn't really alligator, so I don't know. But the bites tasted good, but she said it wasn't alligator. But yeah, I guess if I could eat, if I have the urge, if not the urge, if I wanted to try alligator, I guess I can eat snake too, I guess. But I don't know about the snake. I have fear of snakes, so I don't think I would want to eat that. I don't know. But I remember a cousin of mine, she lived in Queens. How you doing, Judy? She went back to Barbados to visit. She goes there often. And she told me that they cook monkey down there now. And I was like, what? Because, Barbados has a lot of monkeys. And they even have the green monkey. That was my first time seeing it when I went down there in 2006. That was in St. John's. But yeah, those creatures are something else. They just like human beings. I'm telling you, they have the fingers and the toes and Anyway, they said we come from monkeys. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, yeah, allegedly. But yeah, she told me she had barbecue monkey. She went to this restaurant, it's under exotic food, delicacies or whatever. And she told me she had barbecue monkey, and she said it tastes so good. She just bought the stuff. She didn't know what it was. And then somebody asked her, maybe the person in the restaurant, somebody asked her, do you know what you just ate? So she said, no, but it sure tastes good. The person told her, you just ate monkey, barbecue monkey. She said, oh my God, it tastes so sweet. This is what she said. Maybe I would try that, but I don't know. Because to me, if you can eat monkey, you can eat human. So I don't know if I would want to do that. But you know what they say, if you are in a situation where you don't have nothing to eat, you would actually eat a human being. You know, I saw movies about it and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't know. But anything is possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, so yeah, the next time I go to Barbados, I don't know when that will be. I'll try to see if I could find this barbecue monkey. You know, I gather it probably looked like spare ribs. You know how ribs look when you go into the Chinese buffet or the Chinese restaurant and you buy spare ribs, you know, like the boneless one. The meat, it looks like kind of, I think that's the coloring comes from the sauce that they use. I don't know, but maybe that's what it looked like. I have no idea. But I actually saw monkeys in real life in Barbados, and I saw a monkey climb up. We were going to the beach. This was in Christchurch. And I saw a monkey actually climb up in somebody's house, they window. Beautiful house. I don't know if anybody was there, but I saw the monkey open up the window just like a human being would do and jump right up in the windowsill. It got in and then it stuck its head out. I don't know if it was a he or she. And it was actually looking around to see if anybody was coming. I am dead serious. This is not a joke, folks. Those creatures are very intelligent. You might not understand what they say, but they do talk. And yeah, Barbados has a lot of monkeys, for real. Especially, well, they used to be a lot down in, oh my God, St. Joseph. When I was a little girl, they used to be a lot over there. Well, when I was younger, they were a lot. But now that I've grown into a woman, when I went back there, I heard that they still have a lot. I heard that a lot of them, you know, like a lot of them migrated from areas where they used to be. And now a lot of them is like in Christchurch and other parishes, you know, because, you know, they started building these nice fancy houses and stuff in the areas. They cut down the trees and stuff like that. They got rid of the sugar canes and stuff. They might still have a little sugar cane, but this is where these animals live, you know? So it's just like the snakes. They, you know, when they take away their haven and build all these houses, the snakes migrate to someplace else. So, you know, that's what happens with the monkeys too. So, you know, I was told Christchurch has a lot of monkeys. I saw one when I was there, and then my cousin's dad, God rest his soul, you know, he was telling me I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, early in the morning, if I want to see the family. So I was like, what family? He said the family of monkeys, the mother, the father, and the kids. But I never woke up at 6 o'clock when I was there. I never woke up at 6 o'clock. I tried, but I was asleep. He said the family, they come out right close, right nearby their house on top of the hill. He said, but you have to get up early in the morning to see them. So I was only there for 2 weeks, so I never got to see them. But maybe when I go back again, this time I'll try to see if I see the monkeys. Well, I'm not going to go to my cousin's house, but I will be in Christchurch. And my cousin, where I saw the green monkey, you know, well, that's my great aunt stepdaughter. We call her cousin. Phyllis, how you doing? Well, they moved from St. John's, her and her daughter and granddaughter, they moved to St. Philip. They got a beautiful house in St. Philip. So I don't know if they have green monkeys in St. Philip, but that's where I saw the green monkey, by her house. I was in her house. I went to visit her, excuse me. And when I'm looking out the door, in the back, the St. John's is very hilly. So I was looking out her glass door, and they have like a lot of trees back there. So the monkey was climbing around, and I just saw this green thing, and I got up and I was like, you got a green monkey in your backyard. So she was like, yes, I know, they have a lot of green monkeys over here. I was so surprised because I never in my whole life seen or heard of a green monkey. But of course, I never used to be reading up a lot and stuff like that about animals like that and stuff. But I started reading and stuff. So green monkeys been out for quite some time. I don't know if they have other colors, but yeah, they have green monkeys. Green like that. Green, the color green. And they are pretty, because all the others I saw were brown. I never seen a black one, but I seen brown. Yeah. So, I'm going to end my video right now. I'm here just sitting outside, taking in this beautiful weather. Yep. That's the good thing about Florida. You can sit outside and relax, or you can walk around outside. And you don't really have to worry about too much danger happening to you. I don't really worry about danger, period. Nobody runs upon me. I don't see nobody running up on nobody. I'm not saying it don't happen down here, but I go different places and I don't see it, and I go into like neighborhoods, like my granddaughter say, it's the ghetto, That's what they say. But I've been through those kind of neighborhoods, and I never really came upon any problems. Don't get me wrong, now that I'm quite sure they have things going on down here, but I haven't really ran into any of it. Like I know, like in New York, especially New York, I came from there, and I heard about Chicago and different places, but in New York, you can be challenged. You will be challenged lots of times, lots of places. But when I was in New York, I've been into areas that was considered bad. I went through the projects and stuff like that. People warned me, oh, you shouldn't go in there, whatever. The reason I was in the projects because I knew people there. But I never really encountered any kind of danger. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's not there, but I never encountered none of those things. So, I'm just grateful. And I'm the type of person, I go places, and someone speak to me, I always give the courtesy back. I'm not the type of person that walk with my head up and act like I'm too good. Those are the people that get problems. They challenge you, because they be testing you. And then there's always somebody watching you. You just don't see them, but there's always somebody watching you, believe you me. Around the corner, they might be sitting in their car. They know you're not from the area. There's always somebody watching you. And somebody might challenge you. Most of the time they will. They might come up and say, oh, miss or sir, do you have a light? Do you have a cigarette? That's how they'll approach you. and they listen to hear how you say no. Sometimes if you say yeah and you go reaching, that's when they might snatch whatever in your bag. They might snatch your bag or whatever. So you got to be careful out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very careful. So yeah, I'm gonna end my video right now. It's a little breeze, but it's not really bad. See, this is me. I'm chilling. Trying to get rid of the gut still. I take my fiber, folks. Fiber. Make sure you take fiber, people. Fiber is what takes this down. Fiber. I take like 3 or 4 capsules a day. Fiber. Don't forget to get the moringa. Moringa is good. Google it. You'll see what it's good for. It's really good. And selenium. That's good too. It helps with your thyroid and all of that. Maybe that's why mine went away, because I started taking selenium. No, my doctor didn't tell me to take them. But like I said, I Google a lot of stuff. So I started buying me selenium. As a matter of fact, I got 1 left. I'm going to take it in a little while. But guess what? Yesterday, I already put my order in at Amazon. So it's on its way. It should be by my house. If not tomorrow, Thursday. Yep. And I started back taking my B6 because my doctor had stopped me from taking it, but I started back taking it. I was off of it for like 2 years, but I started back taking it because I started feeling like little tingling in my fingers and in my toes and stuff like that. So I ordered 2 last week, and then you know me, I Google everything. So I was Googling it to see what it does for you. Cause you know, before, you know, I know that it helped with your immune system and all this kind of stuff. But it also helps with the nervous system. You know, it's good for your entire body. And it also the nervous system, that's why you get the tingling in your fingers and stuff like that. So I am glad that I decided to take it again, because the doctor told me I had too much in my body. I didn't need to take them. And I had stopped taking them. But, you know, sometimes I feel like a little tingling in my fingers, you know, and in my toes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, you know, like I always say, you know, when my body is doing something that it don't usually do, I always gotta nib it in the butt. So something told me to reorder the B6, start taking them again, and that's what I did. Oh no, I didn't order them. I got them from Walgreens. The other day when I went to Walgreens, I went over there. You know, I was waiting for Skylar because she went to get something. And you know me, always be browsing around. So I saw the B6, and they have the big container. It had 120. No, it had 120. No, it had 180 for $7.99. So yeah, I started Googling it up, and that's what I was reading about with the tingling and stuff like that. And it helps with it's good for the nervous system and all this kind of stuff. Google it, folks. And I purchased it. And you know, Walgreens, they have stuff where when you buy one, you get one free. So yeah, I got one free. So I paid the $7.99. I got one free. So yeah, I started taking it. You know, I'm gonna take 1 container to my house, and I keep 1 container over here. That's, you know, I'll be over here a lot. So, you know, I started taking it, and I'm not feeling no tingling or nothing no more. So it had to be, my body needed that, you know. And you know, the magnesium, if if my body is low on that, that's when I start getting the anxiety attacks. So, I'm learning my body. I'm learning my body. So, I buy my magnesium glycinate, you know. That's for anxiety. They have different forms of magnesium, but you have to Google it for what problem you're having. So I do the magnesium one every day also, so I don't be feeling that crazy feeling in my stomach no more. I don't get the nervous feeling, the scary feeling. I don't get that. But once I don't take that, it starts to come back. You know what I'm saying? But I've been feeling good lately. I've been feeling good for a while now. So, make sure. I know there's a lot of people out there, y'all don't like taking pills and stuff like that, but them things will save your life. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. So, I take care of my stuff. I have to. You have to. So yeah, I'm gonna end now. I'm gonna go inside and groom myself. I brought Mr. Hustle out first. But yeah, I brush my teeth, I do that, make sure I do that first thing, But yeah, I'm out. Peace.